The worst financial advice I ever got. We've all been there. Someone you trust, maybe a friend, a relative, or even a so-called financial guru, gives you a piece of advice that sounds solid until it blows up in your face. Today, I'm sharing the worst financial advice I've ever received, how it almost wrecked my finances, and the crucial lessons that came out of it. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. Before we dive in, drop a comment below. What's the worst financial advice you've ever heard? I bet some of you have horror stories. Let's compare notes. So here it is. The worst financial advice I ever got was, debt is just a tool. Use it as much as you can to build wealth. I heard this in my early 20s from someone who seemed successful. They owned property, had a flashy lifestyle, and made it sound like loading up on debt was the secret to becoming rich. They called it leverage. And yes, debt can be used to grow wealth. But here's the problem. I didn't understand the risks. So I took out a high-limit credit card to build credit. Then a personal loan for a car I couldn't afford. Then I co-signed on a lease I had no business signing. And just like that, I was thousands in debt with zero assets to show for it. The truth? Most people can't manage debt like an investment banker. We don't have the same buffers, the same safety nets, or the same education. So why was this advice so dangerous? 1. Assumes everyone has financial discipline. They told me to treat debt like a business loan, but I was treating it like monopoly money. 2. Ignores cash flow. Debt only works if the money you're borrowing creates more income than it costs. Buying liabilities? That's a trap. 3. Overlooks emergencies. When life hits you with medical bills, job loss, or unexpected expenses, high-interest debt destroys your flexibility. 4. Builds a false sense of success. Driving a nice car and living in a luxury apartment on borrowed money is not wealth. It's a house of cards. Debt is an evil, but it's not a shortcut to success either. If you're not using it strategically, you're setting yourself up to fail. So let's flip the script. What should you be doing instead? 1. Focus on cash flow. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Your income minus your expenses is the most important number in your financial life. Learn to master it. 2. Build an emergency fund. Before investing, before paying off debt, build a 3 to 6 month cushion. That fund saved me more than once. 3. Learn before you leverage. If you're going to use debt, understand the math. Ask yourself, what's the interest rate? What's the risk? What's the return? And can I afford the worst-case scenario? 4. Invest in assets, not status. Instead of flexing with borrowed money, start small. Index funds, your own business, or even skill building. Those pay you back. 5. Track everything. I started tracking every dollar I made and spent. Boring? Maybe. But gave me control, and control is freedom. And that wasn't the only bad advice I got. Here are some other gems I've heard over the years. Maybe you have too. You can always make more money, just spend now. Terrible mindset. Future you has bills too. And inflation doesn't care about your optimism. Buy a house as soon as possible. Renting is throwing money away. Buying too early or buying the wrong property can cost you more than renting ever would. Credit cards are evil. Cut them up. No, they're tools. If used right, they help build credit, protect your purchases, and can even earn rewards. You don't need to invest until you're older. The earlier you start, the more time you give compound interest to work in your favor. Once I realized I was following bad advice, I hit pause. I stopped borrowing. I sold stuff. I picked up side gigs. I got honest with myself. It wasn't instant. It took months, years even, to turn things around. But once I started following sound principles, everything changed. Now I use credit wisely. I invest automatically. I live under my means, not to deprive myself, but to buy freedom. And that freedom, it's worth more than a luxury car or designer bag ever could be. So next time someone tells you to use debt to build wealth, pause and ask, are they really successful? Or just good at pretending? If this video helped you rethink something about money, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe because every week we break down money myths and teach real financial skills that change lives.